Welcome to Frederick at its best. I'm Frederick County Executive Jan Gardner, and I'm joined today by the Mayor of the City of Frederick, Michael O'Connor, several aldermen, and the President of the County Council, MC Keegan-Air. And we're pleased to welcome everyone and to be here today to commemorate Juneteenth. Most people are aware that the Emancipation Proclamation was a presidential proclamation and executive order issued by President Abraham Lincoln on January 1st, 1863. It changed the federal legal status of more than 3 million enslaved people in the designated areas of the South, changing their legal status from slave to free. But the Emancipation Proclamation had minimal effect on the day-to-day lives of most states, particularly in the state of Texas, due to the insignificant number of Union troops to enforce this new executive order. It wasn't until June 19, 1865, which is more than 2 years later, after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, that Union General Gordon Granger and 2,000 federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas, to take possession of the state and to enforce the emancipation of its slaves. Granger informed the people of Texas that all slaves were free, in accordance with the proclamation from the Executive of the United States. This involved an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves. And the connection between them became that of an employer to a hired labor. The significance of June 19th is that the ancestors of Americans of African descent were not free, but slaves, during the nation's first Independence Day, which was celebrated on July 4th, 1776. So there's actually more than one Independence Day. We now celebrate June 19th as the second Independence Day in the United States. Juneteenth has become the oldest known celebration commemorating the end of slavery in our country. Through celebrations such as the one we're holding here today, and in many others, the community remembers the important stories of our history. In Frederick County, we've been blessed with the opportunity to listen to the stories and to experience some of these stories and hear them from our living treasures, some of the oldest African Americans in our community. One of the ways we have shared history and perspectives is through a video production titled The Tale of the Lion, Our Stories, Our Voices. The oldest African American citizens in Frederick County shared their memories, their experiences, their wit, and their wisdom that shaped their lives. The film's title was inspired by an African proverb: "Until the story of the hunt is told by the lion, the tale of the hunt will always glorify the hunter." The Weinberg Center hosted this premiere production. As young people during segregation, many of the very people featured in the documentary The Tale of the Lion were relegated to the balcony in the Weinberg Center. During the event last fall, however, these citizens were honored and welcomed with a red carpet and were seated in a VIP section of the theater. It was very special and a very touching tribute. So now I'd like to invite the City of Frederick Mayor Michael O'Connor and County Council President MC Keegan-Air to issue their proclamations. And with that, I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Mayor.
County Executive, thank you very much. It's certainly an honor to be here with the county to celebrate this important commemoration. We know that more than 150 years later, we are still working to make progress in this area, and our work is not done. The proclamations that we have between the city and the county are substantially the same, and so I'll spare you a lot of the whereases, which deals with a lot of that history that the county executive really talked about, and get to some of the more meaty portions of the bottom of the proclamation, which really gets to the idea that Juneteenth is a day in which we honor and respect is paid for the suffering of slavery. It is a day in which we acknowledge that the evils of slavery and its aftermath. On Juneteenth, we talk about our history, and we realize because of it, there will forever be a bond between us. And whereas Juneteenth is a day of reflection and a day of renewal, a pride-filled day, on this day we come together, young and old, to listen and to learn and to refresh the drive to achieve. Juneteenth is a day that we pray for peace and liberty for all.
And now, therefore, as the President of the County Council, on behalf of the County Executive of Frederick County and the Mayor of Frederick, on behalf of the City and the Aldermen, we proclaim June 19th, 2019 as Juneteenth Day in Frederick County and in Frederick City, and encourage all residents to honor this observation and celebrate this historic day.
Okay. And now I'd like to pass the microphone to the people who are here to introduce themselves and to speak a little bit about what Juneteenth may mean to them. And I'm going to pass it this way first.
Hi, I'm Pat Fleet, and I'm just really happy to be here to celebrate this occasion. And just on behalf of the Human Relations Department of Frederick County and the Human Relations Commission, this is very important to us. Thank you.
Derek Shackelford, Alderman, City of Frederick. Thank the city and county for this proclamation and recognition of Juneteenth Day. I'm elated, well, not elated, but recognize a historical perspective that Juneteenth represent, and I'm also saddened by what happened, but I'm also enthusiastic in terms of what we see. But there's still more work to be done, and I'm happy to be a part of the work that needs to be accomplished in our city and county.
My name's Athena Etzel, and I'm from Citizen Services. I'm honored to be here to celebrate this day.
I'm Miles Ward with the Human Relations Department. I'd like to thank the county and the city for these proclamations. Juneteenth is still a very special day. It's something that we should remember and celebrate every year, and it should be in our minds as we move forward. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. I'm Angela Spencer, a leader in this community and former chair of the Frederick County Human Relations Commission. First and foremost, thank you so very much, County Exec and Mayor, for recognizing Juneteenth. I think I'm the only true Texan here, born and raised in Texas. So this really means a lot to me. And I'll never forget when I moved here 25 years ago and learned that Frederick recognized Juneteenth. I can't remember the organization at this time who did it, but nevertheless, for them to take the time to recognize Juneteenth and know the importance of it, let me know I was in the right city and I was in the right state. So that's a blessing. But in reference to Juneteenth, as everyone has already said with the history, it is a time to be remembered. We didn't have Twitter. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have the forms of communication that we have today. And it took 2.5 years, literally, for the people in Texas to know that they're free. Though I say that many are still in bondage, I'm so blessed to know that we are free.
My name is Michael North, and I'm retired military, and I'm from Ohio. And being from Ohio, we only had 2 schools in the town where I lived, and that was public or Catholic. So I wasn't into the things that happened here in Frederick or in other areas of the South. When I joined the military, that's when I saw a few of the strange things, strange to me. And in 1979, when I moved to Frederick to go to Fort Detrick, and I've been here ever since except for 3 years in Germany, that's when I began to learn really what had happened in the South and how much it impacted my fellow race members. And since that time, my wife passed, and I managed to, after several years, to meet Belva. And Belva and I became good friends, and I realized she's a historian. That really got me involved, and since then I've learned a lot. And I've learned a lot about what our people have done to move forward and what the white race has done here in this area to support her. When I say her, I mean the race, really, not just Belva. But it's been marvelous, and I'm glad to be a part of supporting her.
Hi, I'm Belva King, and I'm excited about Juneteenth, the 22nd of June, at 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'm always say children. Our children need to know what we went through, and I'm so glad that we're here to celebrate Juneteenth. Here we have free admissions. We're going to have speakers that day, awards, food and entertainment, music and vendors. So I hope everybody can come out and join us. I'll be setting some things up, and our guests that day is what was his name? I can't think of his name. Well, he'll be here, whatever. He'll be here. I can't think of his name. Yummy. That's his name. Yeah, he will be there. He drew some beautiful pictures, and he's going to be show us some of the things that he had made. So I'm looking forward to this, and I will be speaking, and we'll be having singers and food, and so y'all just come on out and join us.
Tell us where.
All right.
Tell us where.
Oh, I'm sorry, Monix Park. All right, in Frederick. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rick Simons, and I work with Belva and Michael. We do her newsletter, which is historical records of what has happened here, basically what's happened here in Frederick over the past 100 years or so. And I'm glad to support that. And the thoughts on Juneteenth, it needs to be continuously celebrated because there are many things that celebration can draw attention to. And I just think that's very important. Who's next?
Good morning, I'm Kelly Russell. I serve on the Board of Aldermen for the City of Frederick. And I have to say, I'm just really honored. And in my time in Frederick, I've had the opportunity to learn so much more about the actual people and the stories involved in this. And, you know, I didn't experience any of it, but the more I learn, the more I feel that I'm connected and have a responsibility to support. So Juneteenth is a fantastic way to celebrate, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Kelly Getz with Citizen Services Division, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here and share in this day of celebration and remembrance. Thanks.
I'm Monica Bearden, and I'm the new grandmother of 2 African-American grandchildren. And I see this day very differently now that I'm living and walking in different shoes. I'm so grateful to this community for celebrating something like this and celebrating it together. It's not lost on me that this audience is diverse, and I appreciate everyone being here.
My name's David Key. I'm president of the Arch Society, Frederick. I thank Jan for recognizing the Till of the Lion. It's a great event and brought the community together in a big way. We hope to continue to do that. While I do not want to diminish at all what happened in June of 1865, I think that it's equally important to remember what is happening today. And when we turn on our televisions and listen time and time again that African Americans are treated quite differently by law enforcement, we should all ask ourselves, what does freedom really mean? And I think that, again, for us, it's a matter of recognizing that we still have a long way to go. Hopefully when we open our Heritage Center, we can continue to work with our partners here. And that's where we want to go. We want to hold our community to a higher standard. And we have done so far and look forward to continuing that effort.
Good morning. My name is Roger Wilson. I'm an alderman in the city of Frederick. And I also want to thank the county and the city for this joint proclamation. You know, as I listen to the other stories and reflections, you know, I think about my daughters and their freedoms that they have, that they enjoy because of that 1865 and what happened there. It's a, they have the ability to go into a restaurant. They have the ability, the freedom to love whoever they want to. And I think that's an opportunity for education. And when I get home this evening, you know, I'll have that conversation with my daughters and make sure they understand the freedoms that they have and enjoy.
Katie Nash, and I just wanted to add that, you know, when we were, I was in a meeting this morning with the Disadvantaged Business Review panel, actually over at City Hall with the City of Frederick, and Alderman Shackelford said, "Come on, we gotta adjourn the meeting, we gotta go." And so I came over, and that's really why I'm here. But I did want to just say that I do appreciate this happens every year, and I think it's a good time for us to personally reflect on the work that we've done over the year and the work that we still have to do to dismantle institutions of racism. So I appreciate that the county and city do this, because it's just personally, it's a good reminder.
Good morning. My name is Danielle Haskin. I'm a very proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, the Frederick chapter. That is an African-American sorority established in 1908. But also, similar to Ms. Spencer, my family is from Texas, and when General Granger read General Order Number 3, I have family who was emancipated in not only Galveston, but Anahuac, Double Bayou, Oak Island, in those areas. So this celebration is very personal to me, and I'm excited to see that it is more widely recognized, and I really appreciate everything.
Okay. Thank you all for your comments and your reflections. I think it is important for us to recognize Juneteenth because not everybody actually knows what Juneteenth is all about, and so that's why this ceremony is important. And it really helps us to promote and cultivate knowledge and appreciation of African American history and culture, and to promote equality and equal rights for all, and a greater understanding of what people experienced in the past. So not really related to Juneteenth, but in the past year, actually in the past 6 months, I took my daughters to Monticello, and they had reconstructed some slave cabins, and so they had a docent, and we went to hear that speech. Well, somebody in the audience said, well, wasn't Jefferson kind to his slaves? And the docent said there were no kind slave owners. That doesn't exist. And maybe you want to think that a president of the United States was benevolent, but that didn't exist. But the story he told that I will remember was about the blacksmith who was an African-American slave, and he was very talented, was well known in the agricultural community because he did blacksmith work for farmers all over. And he knew when Jefferson died that he would be free because Jefferson had told him, but that his wife and his children would be sold, and that he would have to watch that. And so he spent time talking to all of these landowners and farmers that he did business with and asked them to buy one of his children or his wife with a deal that he would spend time to earn money to buy them back. And he did that, and that actually happened, and it took him 10 years to buy his family back, except for one child who somebody reneged. And so one of the things I think we forget about is the separation of families that occurred with slavery. And it really, as a human being and as a parent and as somebody who's married, you really wonder how that would affect you and your family for generations. And so it's a little bit different than what we're celebrating here today, but I think it's important to recognize all of this history as we celebrate Juneteenth, and to encourage continuous understanding and respect for everyone. So get involved and support Juneteenth celebrations. It does help to create new bonds of friendship and understanding. There is a Juneteenth Fest this weekend at Mullenix Park, June 22nd, from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come out and join the festivities and learn a little bit about our country's history. So indeed, doing so represents our bright future for Frederick County, and it is in the spirit of Juneteenth. So thank you all for joining us, and thank you for being part of Frederick at its best.